Hi from my screen to yours. My name is Sammy. It is 2026. Let's start off the year by telling you what dramas are coming out this month. I have a pretty long list of both K-dramas and C-dramas that are either going to be released or have recently released. Let's quickly get started, and I'll move through them pretty quickly. First off, as always, we'll start off with the K-dramas, and the first one coming out is The Judge Returns. This one is about the main character who is a judge, and he gets killed for sentencing this powerful person to jail, but he gets a second chance at life. And the main character is played by Ji-sung, who I've seen a few of his K-dramas in the past, and he's a very good actor always. I think he will definitely sell and act this character very well, and I liked that in the trailer the tone felt more serious and not comedic, which you may know by now I just don't really gravitate towards dramas that are comedic, but it seems pretty interesting and it'll probably be good and entertaining, but I just don't think it's interesting enough for me to watch it, so I will be passing on this. Next we have To My Beloved Thief, and this is a historical romance. There's a bit more about the plot, but from my understanding it's just a romance between this righteous thief and the prince. When I watched the trailer, I didn't really get a grasp of how it connected to the plot summary that I read. Like, I was kind of confused. I'm not sure if the main female character has two identities or if she's body swapping or something. If someone's watching this, let me know, but I'm not really interested in it, whether it's body swap or that she has two identities. Next we have Spring Fever. This is another romance. This one is another romance, but it's set in modern day, and the female lead character moves to a small town where she meets this buff CEO character. Feels like a pretty typical K-drama rom-com. I've seen the poster going around a lot. I think the leads look good together. They're both really attractive. I'm just not really drawn to the story or like anything about the rest of it. Not that I think it'll be bad, I'm just not drawn to it. One K-drama romance that I am interested to watch is Can This Love Be Translated? This one is very briefly just about a romance between this female celebrity and her translator. That premise sounds a little more interesting, but frankly, it could be about something really basic, and I'd probably try watching it anyway because I like the two leads, and I cannot remember their names right now. I will put it on screen. We'll give it that the romance plot does sound a bit more unique than the typical modern K-drama romance, I guess. The trailer seemed on the lighthearted side, but not going heavy-handed on comedy. I don't know if it's even supposed to be funny. I'm sure sometimes it will be, but I liked the vibe. Mainly, I'm here to see the two main characters together, see how it goes. Won't commit to watching the whole thing because I'm not sure if I'll actually end up liking it, but I'll definitely give it a try. Next up, another romance. This one has a bit of fantasy elements in it, and this is No Tale to Tell, and it's about the main female character who is a kumio, which is I think like a nine-tailed fox. Her story with the male lead who is a narcissistic soccer player. This again has pretty classic rom-com K-drama feel with the added fantasy element, which for me is even less appealing because I don't really like fantasy usually. I think this could be like a good time if you are into those genres typically, but for me, I will pass. Second last of the K-dramas to talk about is Undercover Miss Hong. This one is set in the late 90s. Our main character goes undercover and she meets the main male lead whose ex looks exactly like her, and that's all I got. Protagonist is played by Park Shin-hye, who I do enjoy watching. Watched briefly where she was this like unhinged judge or something. I didn't end up finishing that, but I liked her in that, and I like her usually in her projects. It seems like a more unique story. I just wasn't totally feeling it from watching the trailer. I will pass again, but let me know if you watch this what you think. And the last K-drama that I have to talk about is called Positively Yours. This one is another romance, but between this second generation chaebol, so this really rich guy, and this career woman who have a one-night stand together, and how their romance and story develops after that. Again, nothing that crazy or special about that plot, but more just seeing how the character's relationship develops. It could satisfy some kind of romance craving. Yeah, I'm also not interested in this. I think nowadays I've really strayed away from K-drama romance because I think like 80% of them, that's probably an exaggeration, but a big percentage of the K-drama romances are funny, and most of the time I don't think they're funny. And when they're not funny, they lean towards like just drama, which I also don't really like. I don't know, I can't really say what kind of romance I like exactly, but I'm just not feeling the K-drama romances that much as of late. But that is all the K-dramas that are coming out in this month of January. Let me know which ones you'll be tuning into. I will only be checking out Can This Love Be Translated? But now let's move on to the C-dramas. As always, if you're new here, most of these C-dramas were December releases, although I do have one that I know of. It is actually the one that I'm most excited for in this whole video, so stay tuned to the end to hear what that will be. Let's get started with the C-dramas. First up, starting with a modern romance, is Sniper Butterfly, and this is a romance between an older woman and a younger man. The woman supported the male lead's education. It looks like he was in high school, but now years later, once he has developed a career, all these years he's still been like thinking about her and thankful and whatnot, and so they reunite and how their romance develops from there. I think it seems like people have been really enjoying this drama, like what I've seen vaguely online. I haven't read anything concrete. It seems like a good modern kind of mature romance, I guess. But watching the trailer, it was a little jarring because there was one scene where I think she said something like, "But you're like my brother," and then like 10 seconds later they're like making out low-key in the trailer, so I was like, oh, I don't know. It's probably good. It kind of made me feel weird, so I'm not particularly drawn to it. Next is Silent Tides, and this is a historical drama about Macau during World War II and various different struggles going on in the wartime. And I do like history and learning about World War II, but I don't usually like dramas set in that time, but it does seem like it's really well produced from watching the trailer. Could be interesting, so I'll give it 2 episodes and I'll see. Next we have probably one, if not the most talked about, or one of the most talked about popular dramas coming out recently, and that's Speed and Love. And this one is about the main couple are non-blood related siblings, basically like half siblings or something, but they separated when they were young due to their parents getting a divorce, and now as adults they've reunited. The male lead is some shit has happened while he was growing up, and now he's really into street racing. He's more hardened by life vibe, and then they develop into a romance. I've watched videos about this drama, and I've also seen the male lead on my TikTok For You page a lot. He's hot, and I think his vibe really suits the main character, but I do think people have mixed feelings that I've seen online. Well, I think I've seen like 3 things that people have talked about, and the first one is that they're low-key siblings, even if not by blood. And I'm an only child, but I think it is weird. Yeah, I think it's weird because even though you're not technically siblings, and even if they didn't spend that much of their childhood together, like you still at some point in your life grew up treating them like a sibling, not like a close family friend necessarily. So I just feel like it would be weird if I saw them like making out. Yeah, so that's one thing. 2 is I know the main actress Esther Yu is kind of hit or miss for a lot of people, and I've never watched her projects because I don't dislike her or whatever as a person, obviously, like I don't know her, but her voice does kind of irk me. But I typically don't like characters that are very like cutesy or like trying to be cutesy girly. Like I just don't like that. It could be any actress, I just don't really like that. And I did hear her speak in the trailer, obviously. She is speaking with a very cute voice, and that will probably annoy me. And then lastly, some people feel like the street racing is kind of like cringe, and I hear it takes up a big part of the drama. I feel like I wouldn't really mind, and a lot of people don't mind, or they think it's fun that it's kind of cringe. Just something that I've seen. But yeah, for all those reasons that I mentioned, I will pass on this drama. I would really be curious what you think, whether you've decided to watch this drama or whether you decide not to watch this drama, what your reasons are, what your thoughts are. Let me know. Next, we have maybe the other most popular drama, and that is The Vendetta of An. This one is another historical revenge tale about our male lead whose entire family was killed by this powerful army, and now he spent years growing up and honing his skills, developing a plan, and now it is time to enact his revenge. I mentioned in a recent video that I have started watching this already. I think I'm only maybe a third through just cause busy, but I am enjoying it so far. The story, the acting, all the characters, the show looks really beautiful. If you're wanting a more serious historical story, then I think you should give this one a watch. Next up, we have another serious drama, and this one is called Man's Inhumanity to Man. This one is set in both in modern day, but mostly in historical, again, World War II time. In modern day, there are incomplete museum records, and that's what prompts this man to uncover the truth behind the crimes against humanity that took place in World War II by Unit 731. First heard about this drama from someone on Reddit saying that it's really good. From the trailer, it looks very well produced. Obviously, this is very heavy content and lots of trigger warnings. What happened in the Unit 731 is super brutal. Definitely not for everyone and not gonna be a feel-good watch, but probably an important watch, so I think I want to give this a try and see how it is. Next, we have The Company. This is a time travel story between an antique shop owner and a current day vet. They're from two different timelines, and together they recover these antiques. I'm kind of curious whether each antique sort of has their own story, so it feels like where every episode is like its own story, or if they all tie together. Seems like an interesting premise. Due to the time travel nature, you'll see a lot of different time periods, which is interesting, so I think I'll try, give it a go and see how it is. Next, we have Shine on Me, which is a romance where the female lead is very bright and warm, and she meets the male lead who becomes attracted to her, and that's basically all I got from the synopsis. I just don't really feel the lead couple together, and also that summary sounds pretty boring, so I'm gonna skip. Then we have The Unclouded Soul. I don't know why I feel like I talked about this, but I'm pretty sure I didn't. This is a fantasy romance between this really easygoing female lead and our male lead, who is this demon king. They exist in this world where both humans and demons are trying to search for this like divine spring thing. You may know I don't like these like fantasy plots. I like the male lead. I watched him for the first time recently in Love in the Clouds. I saw recently, again on Reddit, that people were like, these actors don't belong to whatever actress that they had a really popular project with. That is true. I am open to seeing him in a romance with other actresses, obviously. I just am not drawn to this female lead actress. Again, not because I have anything against her. I've never seen her before in anything else. I'm just not drawn to her. I'm not drawn to the story or them as a couple or whatever, so I will pass. Third last is The Truth Within. This is a crime C-drama about our male lead who joins his city's police force as the youngest forensic medical examiner. He has joined to try and uncover more clues about his girlfriend's death, which was caused by a car crash. There's these new, very weird cases that turn up that he has to solve, and which seem to relate back to his girlfriend's death. From the trailer, this seems pretty creepy, definitely weird. The cases are not normal. I don't know if there's supernatural or fantastical elements involved, but at least from the vibe, it feels not like your typical murder case. I do think the forensic aspect of it is really interesting. I like the vibe that it was giving in the trailer, so I'm definitely gonna check this one out. If it's at least pretty good, especially in them solving the case, like if that hooks me, then I will definitely end up finishing this. The last C-drama that came out already in late December is Glory. This one is an enemies to lovers romance. Again, the male lead is, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but Neo-ho. The female lead rescues the male lead, who is her rival, but he got an injury and developed amnesia, but he's pretending that he doesn't have amnesia anymore, I'm pretty sure, to survive in her household. And of course, they develop a romance. And from the trailer, it looks very well shot. It looks really good. The vibe seems more dramatic think, I don't know, I'm kind of drawn to this one. No offense to the last female lead, but I am more drawn to this female lead, so I don't know, I think it'll be a good time. I'm not typically like in love with enemies to lovers. I don't know if I've seen that many. I don't mind it, I guess. We'll see how it goes. The most excited for that is coming out that I'll be discussing in this video is Love Between Lines, and this is coming out January 9th, so very soon if you watch this when I upload it. And the plot is there's two storylines that go on at the same time. One is this murder mystery because the main characters are playing this murder mystery game, and it's set in, I think, early to mid 1900s, and then the other is them as their real life people and meeting in real life and their romance there. I've been pretty excited for this recently because I watched Love in the Clouds, where I started really liking the actress Lu Yuxiao, and then I'm watching Love on the Turquoise Land, so I've also been liking the main male actor Chen Xingxu. I'm just making the pinyin up again. They're both very attractive. I really like them as actors, so I'm very excited to see them together. And I also watched a bunch of behind the scenes clips of them filming this drama, and I'm feeling the chemistry. And also this does blend both the romance genre and like a murder mystery. You know by now that those are my favorite genres, and this show is that together. So I'm very excited. I would love to know what drama you're most excited for to watch this month. Let me know down in the comments below. Subscribe to join my small drama community, and I'll see you in my next video.